Welcome to Latina Mic Drop, the podcast where you can show up and show out, where bold moves are not only encouraged but the standard. This is where excellence meets simplicity and common sense. I'm Miriam Simon, your host, a leadership coach, author, speaker, a mom of 3 young adults, a grandma in my 40s, and a spouse to the most beautiful kind soul. On a mission to empower 1 million people to continue to tap into their exponential power. If you're out there building your own family and your own future from scratch, you're in the right place. Join me as we explore the stories, strategies, and secrets that can turn your hustle into legacy and peace of mind. Ready to transform your life? Let's get started. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Latina Mic Drop. Today, I want to share with you the inside look of what it is to be an author. And being an author has been something that I never really thought I would be able to accomplish, nor do I ever recall saying to myself, I want to be an author. But the one thing that I did experience growing up was the fact that I enjoyed writing. I really enjoyed writing. Writing was a way for me to express myself. It was a way for me to share my thoughts. It was a way for me to learn from other people. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that drew me to writing was the fact that I was learning so much from other people. And I love to learn from other people. That's actually the way that I have been able to grow as much as I have. From the young age of 18, I've been reading self-help books. So I started off with a self-esteem book that I read maybe 18, 19 years old. I think it was right after I had my son or right before, I can't remember. But I know that I was very young when I started reading about self-esteem and learning about personal growth. I knew that what I had, the tools, the strategies, I was not ready for the real world. And I knew that I needed change, and all I wanted was change and transformation because of the way that I grew up. Because of the way that I grew up, I knew that I didn't have the tools and strategies to live the life that I wanted. And therefore, I needed to learn how to get them. I needed to learn how to find them. I needed to learn what I needed to do differently in order to become a successful person. But the one thing that I can remember from being a kid was the fact that my English teachers loved me. And every time I wrote an essay or I had a writing assignment, I would always get an A or an A plus. And they would always ask me to talk about my essays and actually have me even read them. Then, when I was in college as an adult, when my kids were teenagers, my teacher then had me read my essay out loud. And I recall like a specific moment when the people that were in the class, I mean, they were students in the class, and they would say, we can't wait until we hear your story. I'm a fan of yours. And I was like, fan of mine? Like, I'll never forget that day, because I really was in my head like, my fan? Like, you're waiting for me to share information? This was virtual class. Like, we were not in class together. We were virtually going to school as adults, because the one goal I had of mine was getting my degree, and I didn't care how long it was going to take me, and I didn't care when the F I did it. I knew I was going to get it done. But then, so now thinking back, the signs were all there of when people would say, hey, Miriam, I want you to write. I want you to write, and I want you to read your story and tell us about this. Another time was when I was in college the first time, right after high school. The teacher there told me to ask me to read it again. And I was just thinking, like, why? Why do people want to read it? And then when I went to work in 2013 for the organization that I work now, my coworker just met me, and she said to me, hey, I really think you should write a book. And I was like, write a book? What you talking about? Literally, we had just met. We were onboarding. She was onboarding me. I was filling out the paperwork, understanding the union agreement that I was a part of, and I was understanding what I was entitled to and asking questions. And she happened to see the tattoo of the flower vines that I have on my wrist, as well as the pearl bracelet that I had on. She says to me, maybe you should write a book. And I was like, a book? Yeah, right. That would like came out of left field. And she said to me, yeah, maybe it could be tattoos and pearls. She planted that seed back then in 2013. We're in 2025 now. And I've been working on this book for over a year. And I cannot explain how excited I am, how enthusiastic I am to share the book with you all, because it is just an experience to be able to share all the things that I've been through, good and bad, because I am not about just sharing, the rainbows and unicorns and all the celebrations and all the great shit that people talk about. No, life isn't like that. Life is fucked up sometimes, and we do have experiences that mark us for life. And there are things that happen to us that we end up being stuck there, and that happened to me. I had more than one experience, and I'll dive into many of them. But at the same time, I learned so much from them. And there were pearls of wisdom that I gained because of these things that I went through, whether it was good or bad. I learned more from the bad than the good, because I think I had more bad experiences than good experiences. I'm not going to like diminish the love and the community support, the support of my family, my brothers, my sisters, my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, my mom and dad. Even though they had minimal to give, deep down they did love me in the way that they could, in the way that they did. And you know what? Their choices are their choices. I can't, just sit here and give excuses for what they've done or what's happened to me, because it's really not about that. What it's about is just understanding the fact that we all go through things, and we go through good and bad. And what are we going to learn from them? What are we going to do with it? And so this writing journey for me has been transformational in many aspects, just taking it out of my heart and out of my memory, out of my head, and bringing it out into ink and paper. First, it was pen and paper. Pretty soon, I'm going to see the ink and paper. I feel like this heaviness right now, like a pressure, I guess. It's like a pressure cooker. I feel like it's been boiling and cooking, and it's been marinating now at this point, because it's been over a year that I wrote the book, and now the book is going to come out. And now I'm going through the stories, making it sound right, clear, and making sure, like they always say, your first draft is your not so good draft, which is expected. I mean, I'm not a writer. I didn't take writing courses. I didn't take writing classes, but I knew that I had a story to tell. And thankfully, I met my publisher through a different project, which came to me at one of the best times in my life, which was actually one of the worst times of my life at the same time. This is why I'm saying that, like, that tattoos and pearls theme is exactly my life. There has not been a good thing that hasn't resulted from a bad thing. What was going on with me was the fact that I was going through a tough time, and I was going, what it was, I was going through a growth spurt. So I know I had reached my peak. I knew that I had reached my peak. Like, my peak was, I had already been there, right? So I had achieved, I had gone through 8 different promotions at my job. I had the job of my dreams. Like, I'm helping so many different people, doing the work. And then I realized, like, this is the top of the mountain. Now what? And the top of the mountain was amazing. Like, to be able to see how far and high I've been able to reach. I mean, come on. I'm an executive manager who has the opportunity to help others in so many different ways. I've had development programs that I've been able to create with great people, collaborate with awesome people, and then just seeing the promotion that I still see now from the programs that I've started, even working in the EBRGs, everything that I've been able to do there, and how I've been able to contribute and give back, and how people valued the work that I did. And everything I ever did was always to help others and be of service. And I didn't even realize, like, that was my gift. I was just thinking, how can I help others? What can I do? And then now to just think about the book and how it's going to help others, which is why I started writing the book. And then authorship. I mean, the one time I haven't written in such a long time. I hadn't journaled in such a long time. I hadn't put my feelings. I guess I was just drowning in them. I wasn't even expressing them. Nothing. uh, you just go through life and you just keep going. Like, it's not like something you say, oh, let me sit down and let me deal with my feelings, or let me deal with my emotions, or let me deal with this catastrophe, or let me deal with this situation, or this was bad and this was good. And because I was in survival mode most of the time, thinking about the next thing that I was going to do, the next thing I was going to accomplish. And then I reached a point where I had reached the peak, and everything was good. And trust me, I am very grateful for the job that I have. I'm very happy with what I do, and I love helping people. But for me, I realized that there was something more for me to do. But in order for me to get there, I needed to go through this ugly part of my life. And it was so ugly that I was like ugly crying on the train home. And it was an uncomfortable time in my life that really was there to catapult me onto this side of where I'm at today. And I had no clue at the time, but I was asking for it. I want something more. There is something more for me. I want more out of life. There's definitely something on the other side, but what the hell is it? What is it? Where am I going after this? I've reached the peak of my career. Now what? One day to the next, I lost a sponsor, and that was because she was going to retire. Then I had just little things that were happening and things weren't going right. I became so uncomfortable. I mean, it wasn't like I was unhappy. I was uncomfortable. I needed to respond to people in different ways. I needed to do things differently. People are looking for me in a different way. And I knew that I needed to grow and I needed to move forward. But what the hell was it that I needed to do? And so writing was the way that I was able to express myself and get through that ugly crying moment that I had. I began to think about, well, what is it that I want to do? And I had realized that a coach had helped me see me and be me. And that allowed me to accept myself 100% fully. And that's why I was thriving. That's why I was doing such great work, because I had somebody who saw me, saw me for my gifts and talents, saw me for what I could do, for my potential, and helped me out, right? And I mean, I did my part. Like, that person always tells me, you earned it. And I did. I know I did, because I did the work. I'm not the kind of person that's scared of working, and I'm not the kind of person that's scared of challenges. I am not intimidated easily. So bring it on. And I still live by that. I mean, I am not the flight kind of person. I am a fight kind of person. And that's why sometimes people think, oh, she's too much. I don't really care. But anyways, what I'm talking about is the fact that there was growth that needed to happen. And without going through this ugly part of my life, I wouldn't have found it. And so in the moment, you really don't realize what the hell's going on. You don't even know why it's happening to you. You think, what the heck? This is so bad. But in reality, it was really just to shed everything of the old person that I was and the new person that needed to emerge. And like I said, I was asking for it. I wanted it. I was ready for it. And by being ready for it, it came. And what happened to me was I started looking for what was next. And then I said, I want to be a coach. I want to be a coach because this was so transformative for me. And I was able to be the best version of myself, 100% authentic. Now, how can I do that for others? And what I did is I started to advocate for myself, and I started to say, look, this is what I want. Is it okay if I can participate in the certification? Thankfully, I was approved and I was able to do it. Now I'm a certified Hudson coach. I've been able to work with various coaches. So imagine the experience I had with one. Now I was able to experience it with maybe 4 to 5 of them. And then all the other coaches that were in the program with me, we grew together and we became coaches together. And now they were able to help me too. Like the way that I was able to see myself and the way that they mirrored me was amazing. And so then now, right, the writing journey came in and the coaching journey came into my life. And the coaching brought me to the publisher. So the coaching, I was looking up John Maxwell and I was thinking I love his leadership. Leadership is something that I am just 100% passionate about. I love leadership. It is one of the things that I have figured out I'm pretty good at. I've read a lot about it and I have been able to accomplish many, many things. Why not, right? Why not hone in on a skill and strategies that you've learned, and why not learn from the best? So I loved his books, John Maxwell books. And then I found Adriana Rosales from RMP Studios, and she has a Latinas 100. And then during that ugly cry moment, I was writing what I wanted to write, right? I was writing all my feelings, writing this and that. And I had a big event that I had to attend to. And so I was writing everything out. And then what happened was that I had that last chance email to submit your Latinas 100 story to get into the book, Leaving Our Legacy and Inspiring the Next Generation book. And I said, you know what? I have the perfect thing to send in. So out of frustration, out of anger, out of disappointment, out of all the ugly things that I was experiencing, right? They were the catalyst to jump me into writing and jump me back into my gift. And by writing, I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to share what I've accomplished. I'm going to share the things that I'm doing. And I had just advocated for a new EBRG along with other people, and something that was innovative that nobody had ever done or that you really don't even hear about, having an employee business resource group for a profession. And I said, this is like worthy of it being in a book and it being part of what's possible for other people. So I submitted the story. You know, I talked about a little bit about myself and my upbringing. And then I talked about this. I received the clearance, right, to be able to share. And now that's one of my stories that's in the anthology series for volume 3. Then I jumped into another story that I was able to submit, thinking, you know, what else can I do? How else can I share? And then I thought about the career decision that changed everything. So because I was able to move from working in New Jersey to New York and making that transition, which was a difficult decision, again, another growth spurt that I went through. Had I not done that, had I not been through the experience of driving 2 hours, really not seeing my promotional salary because I was paying the tolls to get to New York and back. Had I not done that, I would not be in the job that I'm in now, where I was able to really make impact. And so therefore that story was super important, because I know so many people are out there thinking, hey, I don't want to take this chance. I don't want to make this effort. I don't want to go to work somewhere else. Maybe I can't get it done. I have kids. I have goals. I have a spouse. I've had all of it. I've had kids. I had, at the time, they were teenagers. I was going to school. So I was putting myself through college. And then I was also getting promoted every year and a half. And so then I thought this was such an excellent story to be able to share this with people. And that's the career decision that changed everything, which is in the Hispanic Star, The New Face of Power. I mean, that's such a great book, which I love. And then I said, okay, now, thankfully, the publisher was like, you know what? I think that you can write a book. Do you have a title that you think you could do? Or do you have a book in you? And I said, yeah, Tattoos and Pearls. The book came back to me. And then I was thinking, is this really real? Like, is this a reality? Through her, I've been able to work with her in the past year to be able to do many innovative things that she hasn't even really done for anybody else. But she thought, hey, how can I help my authors promote their books, and how can I give them a white glove treatment? And I love the fact that that's what she's thinking about. And it's just so incredible to see the way that when you give people an opportunity to help and share their gift with you, and you share your gift with them, like the great product, the great things that come out, and how much you can help other people. Because for me, it's always about helping other people. It's never about like, I want to be this or I want to be that or anything like that. Of course, you want to do better and you want to do a good thing and you want to progress as time goes on. And that's a result of everything that you put into. But we were just working, and I was so happy because I was the first one that was able to have a book cover reveal video. We were able to go and rent a meeting room, have all the book covers that she came up with, right? So through our book coaching sessions, I told her what I wanted, what I was thinking about, what kind of letters, what kind of wording, the book cover that I had envisioned. And so I've always been this black and white kind of person. I'm a Gemini. So, they say the two faces and all this other stuff, but it's more than that. It was tattoos and pearls, right? And I was thinking, like, there's the me that's the growing up one, the person that was young, grew up in the ghetto or grew up in the hood, grew up around gangs, grew up in a dangerous neighborhood, grew up Mexican, grew up immigrant, grew up poor. There's so many different things. And then now you go into this world where I'm at, and I use all the lessons I learned from growing up in that environment. And now I'm this corporate person who is thriving and helping others do the same. And now it was like, okay, so how can I combine that? So I was thinking, oh, let's put a Mexican woman on one side, right? Like it's, you show one part and then the other side is the corporate side, and mix it together, right? And then she had all these beautiful book covers that she brought to the table. Her son joined us, my wife joined me, and it was a great experience out in New York in the Bronx. And we had a great time reviewing all the book covers. If you want to see a few clips of the exact moment when I picked my book cover and you want to see what the experience was like, you can go to my YouTube channel and you can watch the clips and you can watch the actual video of us, going through that whole experience. And it's just amazing to see how what you're thinking and how you translate that and bring that out into the world. And then now you're seeing it in person. You have a tangible item in front of you. And actually, I still have the covers behind me on my shelf back here as memories of all the tangibles that I looked, all the covers that I looked at. They were really amazing. I mean, but the one that hit me was when I saw myself on the cover of the book. That I was in utter complete shock that it took me a second, but she saw it right away. So Adriana picked up on it really, really quick. And she was like, like she even sang to say, this is it. We had our aha moment, taking it in and thinking about it and understanding that that was the reality of what the book cover was going to be, which was my actual picture on it, because I am representative of the tattoos and pearls. I mean, you see, like right now I have my ring who has pearls on it, but then I have my tattoo next to my nice watch, and I have about 5 tattoos. And tattoos was something that at my young age, I'm not going to say when I got my first one, but that was not acceptable for women to do. And that's okay, because I like to be the trendsetter and I like to do things that nobody else does. And I like to do them first too. So I was so happy that Adriana chose me as one of the first ones. It just so happened to be that way, that the time aligned for her to come over to New York and be able to do that for me and give me the book cover reveal. And then guess what? She goes and takes it a step further. And then during our book coaching session more recently, about 2 months ago, we get back together, right, to start focusing on the launch of the book, and we start focusing on the editing of the book. And now we're thinking, she's like, oh, you know what? That song, and actually one of her other authors told her the same thing. Like the song in the original book cover reveal video isn't really aligned with the messages of Tattoos and Pearls. That's not really who Miriam is. And then because she's so awesome, she goes ahead and she creates a theme song for me, Tattoos and Pearls. And I was crying like a baby listening to the 6 tracks that she created for me with AI, which is amazing. I mean, like, if you all think that AI is here to take over your jobs and take over all this and take over all that and humanity and this and that, that AI would not know what to do without Adriana, one, and without my story, which is me. Those different options that she provided me, I was in tears the whole time. She gave me like 6 tracks, and then even in the title of the way that she sent it to me, it was like, yes, yes, this one. And it was exactly the same one that I chose, that I wanted. And so now we updated the video with the theme song. And now we have a theme song to the book, Tattoos and Pearls. I mean, like, who has a theme song for their books? Nobody. Nobody. So this is why, right? Like, when you think about traditional publishing and hybrid publishing and self-publishing, this is why sometimes it's better to go with other people that are just starting and doing things. I mean, listen, I don't know how long it would take me to go to a traditional publisher. I don't know how much money they would pay me for my work. I don't know what the hell they would even offer me. And because I'm Latina and all this other shit, right? They probably would give me almost nothing for my stuff, as opposed to me working from nothing and going up and figuring it out and helping another Latina get out there and do her work and get her experience. And we're doing it together. I mean, she's very experienced at where she's at. But for us to be able to have this journey and do these innovative things are incredibly amazing. And we're at the front of it. So wherever this journey may lead us, right? And the great thing about it is that I'm not alone. There are other authors that are also taking advantage of all the information that Adriana has, all the experience that she's been able to share, because she's published and she's also has her own books and has her own stuff, and she loves technology. She is using technology to help and to be able to work through all these things that we need to get through. And it's transformational at this point. I mean, every time I meet with her, she has a new gadget, and not a new gadget like a technical thing, like a new software that she's looking at that's helping to do X, Y, and Z. I mean, now when I recorded the introduction for Tattoos and Pearls, I was able to either use AI where they can use my voice and then just put in the chapter, and then it'll record it for me and it'll be in my voice, which is amazing. So, I mean, can you think about to be able to do your audiobooks like that instead of going to a studio, instead of going to, I don't even know how the hell they do it, but whatever it is that they do, it's probably costs money and all kinds of stuff. And now me, thankfully, through going through the podcasting course with Jeunesse Torres, I have the equipment at home. So I have my mic, I have my Mac. She helped me understand, like, hey, you got to record with your headphones on. That's the way it's going to sound the best. You need this kind of room. You need this kind of thing. So for me, it's always been about working and learning from the people that have done it so that I can do it better and easier. For me, I don't have to go through the heartache of the DIY, right? The do it yourself part. And yeah, there are some things that I do myself. Of course, I'm editing, I'm recording my videos, I'm coming up with all kinds of information and kinds of creativity. But these people are helping me with the other piece that I don't know, or that I'm not aware of, or that I'm really brand new to. But the writing part is what started all of this. And being uncomfortable was the reason why I was able to dive in deep into my heart and get it out from me, and now be able to share all the writing that I've been able to do with you all. Then on top of that, I remember somebody else that I used to work for who was amazing at getting her visibility. And so what she did is that she had her name in different articles, in different newspapers, anything that was related to her field. She would put her name in there to share her story and share her expertise. So I thought to myself, well, guess what? Then that's something that I can do too. How can I do it? So I tried one magazine, but that cost like $5,000 just for one article. So I was like, I don't think that's going to be a thing right now. I'll come back to you. They were like, do you have any sponsors? No, I don't have any sponsors at this point. It was very, very brand new to me. So I don't have any sponsors yet. But if you're willing to sponsor me, hey, give me a shout out, give me a call. And then, so then, right, I started to look around, and then I saw Forbes and Forbes Coaches Council. You could become a member, and it's a paid membership. But with them, you're able to add your articles into Forbes leadership section. Why not me? Why can't I go ahead and add my point of view and add my expertise into this, which I'm pretty sure, somebody like me to be able to do what I'm doing now, considering where the hell I came from, that is unbelievable, but it's freaking true. So writing has opened so many doors. I think I haven't even really seen how far I will get with this. But the best part is that I'm enjoying every minute of it. And now I've had at least 6, I think, since August of last year, 6 articles where I'm an expert panelist on these. I contributed to the articles, and my stories are in Forbes.com on the leadership section. Like, I never would have thought that. And now I have 3 anthology series that I'm a part of. And then I'm going to have my own book that's coming out in March. So the significance of being able to write is just so incredible to think that it has brought me this far. I am so glad and grateful for Adriana that was able to see me for who I was, where I was, and she was able to save me into coming into this authorship journey and being able to share my story with other people. And then through all this, after all this, I decided, you know what? The no's that I'm getting elsewhere are because the yeses are coming. And even a no that I received for a promotion, right? That one landed me with the Latina Mic Drop podcast name. That's how it was born. Born out of an uncomfortable but real experience that I knew actually was not the right time for me, and it wasn't the right role for me. But I needed to let go of that idea of doing that kind of work before, and in order to be able to have my own podcast, which I had already taken a course. I had already done the work. I had already the tools. I had the strategies, but now I needed to figure out what was the name of it going to be? What was I going to do with it? And the reason why I started the podcast was because my voice wasn't out there. Everything until now, I've had so much experience because I've talked, I've done many panel discussions. Every year I do award ceremonies, and I've also host my own meetings with hundreds of people. And I also hosted EBRG events, which were like 200-300 people at a time. And every single time I did those, people loved what I brought to the table. People came up to me and loved my work. The one major speaking event that I did, which was the New Year, New Me, a couple years back, was the fact that a lady came up to me, a woman came up to me, and she had tears in her eyes because she was a Latina. And in order for you to get speaking gigs, you need to have clips, you need to have videos. And that woman, I'll never forget her. She's actually cousin to somebody that I had worked with. that was working at a different company. I mean, I didn't even know she was going to be there. It just happened to be a partnership that worked out, and she happened to be in the audience. And she came up to me and she had tears in her eyes because she was so proud of the fact that she was able to connect with somebody like her, a Latina like her, and see me in her and me, like, just to see each other. Even my publisher, like, sometimes she says, like, you are me, I am you. When you're going into that corporate world and you're going, getting on that train and going to work in New York City, like, that is an experience that I'm living through you. And I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I never really even thought about that. Like, that's what I love, is to hear and understand the impact that I'm making, because that's what I want to do. I want to be able to contribute to society, be able to contribute on a larger sense, in a reach wider kind of way, instead of me reaching higher for some of these positions that aren't even worth it sometimes, that probably just give you a headache. And listen, they're not for everybody. And if you're there, great. If you're not, fine. And for me, it just didn't seem like it was the right moment in time. Not saying that something else came up, I wouldn't take it. I probably would, but it for me, at this point, it wasn't. And because of that bad experience, I wrote down all my feelings and I wrote everything that was happening to me. I began journaling it. Journal, write. And then what happened to me? I was able to come up with the name, and now I've been with you through many episodes. That was, right after Hispanic Heritage Month last year, which the purpose of me doing it was because we're here all the time. Like, we're not here just in that month. I've been in this country for over 44 years. Like, I've been here forever. I only came here when I was 6 months. So all I know is this country. I don't know anything else. So how else am I going to show up but the way that I've been? So, and I was thinking, how can I help? How can I do more? How can I share the information that I have? How can I have these clips? And so through writing, now I have even a blog. Now, what I say to you in the podcast, now I can work with that same information and create my own blog, which will help other people who prefer to read their information as opposed to hearing it. And then the podcast is for the people that prefer to hear it instead of writing it or reading it. That's what I learned through the EBRGs, was that people receive information differently and want information differently and do things differently. So then that's why I have so much variety in what I do now, because I realized that that's the way that I'm going to connect with people and I'm going to be able to help more people, because I'll hit all those different ways that people can connect and can learn from what I've learned from and what I've been able to accomplish and be able to do. And through my story, because there's so many people like me out there who have had difficulties growing up, who've had, the immigrant experience, or have been othered, and the minority experience, and the not being accepted for who you are experience. There's just so many different things. Even being a young mother, I mean, people judged me for that forever. Now I'm a young grandmother and they're like, you're crazy, all these kinds of things. But at the same time, I have learned so much. I have been able to say that I live a full life every single day, and I love my life so much. And writing, now that it's back in my life and now that I'm able to enjoy it, do it, share with you all, connect with people in such a different way, it is just one of the most transformative ever. I mean, writing the book and hitting on all those different experiences that I had growing up really helped me to see and shed that previous version of me that I was talking about earlier. And it was able to help me even find what I needed, right? So I had a therapist before writing the book, and the therapist, because I was going through all this stuff and I was like, I needed to learn, I needed to grow, and who could help me? What the hell am I going through? Do I need therapy? I don't even know. But I went through it. And at that time, I had decided to set a boundary with my family a little bit, because I needed the space to be myself and be me and be okay with being me and accept me. And so that first therapist was not Latina. She was a woman, but she was not Latina. And she did help me, and I had a great experience with her. But then my next therapist, which I said, this time I'm going to find one that's a Latina, and this is what I want. Because at this point, I had a little more knowledge and a little more courage to seek what I wanted, not just take whatever was available. And so what I did is I found one, and she happened to be Latina. I loved it because she was younger than me, but she had the expertise, and she was Latina, and I could speak to her in both English and Spanish. And she helped me get through everything that I had hidden within me, that I had not dealt with externally, and also helped me get to the point where I'm ready to share my story and ready to share the book. Because I knew that I needed to get over or get through all these things that I've been through in order for me to be the person. Because what happens is you end up sometimes being stuck in these old experiences, or you end up having triggers that, because you never really dealt with them, you don't even know that they're there. And so I was going through that, and I was even having trouble in my marriage because of all these things. And it was just really boiling up. I'm telling you, when I went through an uncomfortable stage, I mean uncomfortable in many different aspects, because I needed to let go of that version of me that was not serving me anymore. And it was, the main thing was invisibility for me. And you'll hear about that in my book, because I was being invisible, because that's what I used to do to feel safe. And writing helped me stop being invisible and help me to emerge as the person that I am. Coaching helped me emerge to the person that I am. And now I'm able to help people and work with them and turn their setbacks into successes and turn their silence into confidence and influence. And I am just so happy and ready to be able to share my Tattoos and Pearl story with you. And I can tell you that writing has been one of the most influential ways in which I have been able to position myself in having more authority and credibility. Now I am seen as a leadership expert. And now I have so many people who seek me out actually and want to work with me. Now I have people who are referring me because of my coaching and what we've been through. I was actually just crying last night because I connected so much with my client, because she was who I was years ago. And what she has been through is exactly what I had been through. And not that her experience is my experience and my experience is her experience, because I honor her experience, but because of the similarities that we had been through, she was so misunderstood, and I knew what that felt like, to be misunderstood. And so therefore that makes me so happy and excited that I am the person that she's able to trust with that information, and that I am the person that who's able to talk to her and explain to her and be her mirror for her, so that she can move forward and go on. And that has just been, I'm telling you, I was so proud of myself, of the fact that I was able to connect with this client in such a way that the coaching is working, that the coaching is going through, like the coaching is helping her getting through to the other side. And she's been thanking me from day one about our coaching sessions. And this just shows me that I really did choose the right journey to go into that. And then my writing has also helped me see that part. And people are seeking me out for my expertise and are looking for me to talk to them. I love the fact that I'm able to share what I've learned, and I've learned so much throughout all these years. And the business growth and opportunity, I'm getting ready to go to a launch lab in April, because what I want to do is I want to be able to bring you all workshops and bring you coaching courses that I'll be able to record. I'm working with other people so that I can bring you all of that, and then, increase my visibility. It'll also, the leaving a legacy and inspiring the next generation. I mean, I have 3 kids of my own. They're in their 20s already, so they're adults. But not even just them, just everybody else. All the women and men that I've been able to help, and all of their faces like come through as I'm talking about it, because the impact and the legacy I haven't even seen it yet. I'm starting to see a bit of it. I mean, the people that I put through the programs are like, we're over 100 now. And by the summertime, I can't wait until we have a reunion and meet all together in person so that we can share in the stories and our wins and opportunities. And I am always listening to what it is that is working for them or not working for them so that I can go ahead and either change the program or make it better or give them something else. And I really love to listen to my clients and understand what it is that is working and isn't working so that I can provide a better service for people. The personal growth and reflection. The reflection now from all the heartache and headache and growth that I went through to where I am today and turning my own setbacks into success have been so transformational, and the challenges I've been able to overcome really have helped me articulate all the experiences and wisdom clearly that I can share it with you all. And this is just deepening my understanding of my own journey and honoring myself. And if you ever think about writing a book, it is 1000% going to be a transformative experience for you, because like my daughter used to tell me, Mom, have you met you? Have you met you? And take the moment to pause, to think about it, and then reflect on it and understand your own journey and credit yourself, reward yourself, celebrate yourself. Today I was doing a song and a dance. I almost put it on TikTok, but I didn't. I was so happy and excited after recording the private recording for the volume 4 that's coming out next week. You'll be able to see it on YouTube. And I was so happy today that I never used to do that. I just used to go through life and just keep going. But now here I am celebrating myself, rewarding myself for all the good work that I've done. And I challenge you to do the same. If you haven't done something like that, or I'm sure if you write down or you think about it right now, write down or tell yourself, what are 3 things you accomplished this week? And if you were to see all the things you accomplish, especially women, especially mothers, especially, you don't have to be a mom. Most of you are titis. Like my daughter is not my youngest daughter is not a mom, but she's one of the greatest titis that I've ever seen. And she takes care of my granddaughter like no tomorrow. We actually went out for Valentine's Day yesterday with my spouse, my daughter, and my granddaughter, and we were each other's Valentines. I love that. I see myself as a parent. Of course, I'm a mother forever. I see myself as a parent, but now I don't have little kids that are under my care 24/7 because they're adults. So now, I'm not going to say I'm an empty nester because I'm not. They're still living in my house, but it's a different experience. And so we all bring something to the table, and we are all accomplishing something. So no matter how little or big it is, definitely take the time to celebrate yourself. And if you ever thought about writing your own book or writing or anything like that, even just journaling for yourself, writing down your feelings and emotions, writing down what you went through, writing down your wins, and just getting them out from you and putting them on paper, just making sure that you can keep it where it's confidential. Sometimes I write things and I just cut them up, rip up the piece of paper and throw it in the garbage. Nobody needs to see what I'm thinking and what I'm experiencing in the moment. It depends. But then there's other times, like the stories that I've been sharing in my books and the anthology series. And now I am just really happy and excited that Tattoos and Pearls is coming out in March. And I'm really happy to be working with Adriana Rosales. Look her up. She has Rosales Publishing Studios. She's amazing. She does great work. The Latinas 100 community is a great community to be a part of. And I can tell you that writing has been the savior these past few years. It's began my healing journey. And now I am able to work and help with others. And now I'm on the other side, and I can't wait to be here with you every single week and be able to share and just be there. Like I'm just really happy about all my accomplishments and all I will be able to, and be able to come and be here and share my expertise with you. So enjoy the rest of your week. Have a great day, night, evening, and I'll see you on the other side. Tuning in to Latina Mic Drop. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. We're building something extraordinary together. If today's episode inspired you, subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. For one-on-one coaching and more resources, follow me on your favorite social media platforms at author Miriam Simon, or visit my website at Miriam Simon Online. Until next time, keep turning your tattoos into pearls of wisdom and your dreams into reality. Stay strong, stay focused, and let's make history.